All right, we're live on Facebook, and I'm going to just welcome everybody again. This is my third day of talking and celebrating local agents in New Hampshire, Maine, and northern Massachusetts, and all the nice charitable work that they do for others. So today we have Sue Doyle. And Sue, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, thank you. I appreciate the when you call or we talked about this. And I was like, it's a great idea to get all the information out there about what goes on. Um, I am an agent with Keller Williams Coastal. I am licensed in New Hampshire, Maine, and Massachusetts, and I've been here coming up. I think I'm a month off from 13 years, I believe.
That is quite a long time with one brokerage.
Yeah. We all probably get offers from other companies. Please come join us. And I will be right up front and say I have not for 1 second of any moment given any thought to going anywhere else. This is my family. I literally love everybody at my office, and that will be my one and only for life.
I love that. And I know you're not super good about bragging about yourself, but you have another hat that you wear that's important to us agents. So why don't you tell us, everybody, what you do also? We're just discussing it.
Oh, that. That's something I talk about a whole lot, but I was put on the New Hampshire Real Estate Commission a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
And that is also quite an honor. I feel that it's very important. There are a lot of details about this industry that, if not handled correctly or delicately, can go a little bit out of control, and that affects consumers. And I think just making sure that things are going as the law says that they should, and that agents are following the things that they need to do is really important. So it's
100,
yeah.
100%. And I appreciate all the hard work that you do. I've the commission meetings and this information that you guys get and what you have to discuss and decide on. It's detailed. It's a lot of work, and I don't believe you really get compensated for that work either.
No, there's a little mileage mixed in there, but that's okay. That's not what, and to be honest with you, this, I probably shouldn't say this, but there is a little stipend and mileage check that used to come. We're not driving there anymore. We're on Zoom like the rest of the world. But when the first check came, I was like, what is this? I don't even know what this is. Like, there's no pay for sitting on the commission, but it's a little stipend by statute. But it was just kind of funny.
It is. So one of the reasons I decided to bring you on today is because you do a phenomenal job of fundraising for local children, making sure that they have something at Christmas. And I've always been so impressed and astounded with how much organization it takes and how many people you end up helping. So why don't you tell me a little bit about what it is you do?
Well, again, being quite upfront, I did not bring this event into the office. Another agent did. His name is Michael Whitney, part of our office. And Michael and I have been very good friends since the first day I met him. I was on his team before I did my own, and all of that background. But it became a kind of a small thing 13 years ago that DCYF would send us a list of here's what's needed. And we'd put it out there to the office if anybody wanted to, totally voluntary. I'm a huge believer in there is zero pressure, because there are, like, think about this year. There are just times that people have money to give, and then there are times that may not. So it's a zero pressure. If you'd like to help, here's what we need. And for 13 years now, we just finished collecting everything for this year. We've met that list at 100%, and it's amazing.
How many children did you help this year?
I will say 115. There were
Mhm.
a few more things that they needed, that we, provided gift cards to the organizers so that they could run out and get the things, if they weren't really specific right now. So there are a few gift cards mixed in there too, but I'd say 115 kids
Nice.
directly as opening something that they would really like. And that means a lot.
So my understanding is DCOA asks these children what it is they want to have for Christmas. Then you're provided this massive list
Mhm.
and you put it out onto our office page. And when you say that it's no pressure, it truly is no pressure at all. I've been with KW for 8 years and I've donated every year. And I love that you have a list so I can choose what's in my budget as well as what I think is, brings me joy to help some little kid be able to open whatever it is. Or I have a tendency to, I feel like I've matched how the ages of my children as to who
Mhm.
goes
A
in.
lot of people do that, and it's absolutely great.
It's really funny. And you do a really, really great job of it. And it's more of a, by the way, if you're able to, here's the information. And I think that our office responds really well to it for that reason, because it is no pressure, and for the fact that you're just so generous and passionate about it, and it just brings you joy to do. And
Yeah.
when you have the 115 gifts, where do they all show up to your office? Are they all scattered around the KW office? Or they show up at your house now? What's going on with that?
They this will sound kind of unorganized, but it's not. It's I know where every single thing is. This year we had a number of people moving within the office, and this year I have a spot. I have a separate office attached to my office where they could all sit until we are ready for them to pick them up, type thing. But for 12 years of this, they would sit in Michael Whitney's office, covering the floor, covering every surface. It was kind of like a bad hoarding situation, but it was all toys going to kids.
Mm.
He has a few more people working in there right now. So the and I was already thinking about it, but he's like, is there any chance that these things can hang out? And I'm like, absolutely. Yep. We got the perfect amount of space for it. It's all good. I don't think anything's, no, nothing's come to my house,
Mhm.
because with COVID, this has happened for years, but this year I think was even more important that people could just go on Amazon and type in whatever the item is and
Mhm.
say, send it to Sue Doyle at 750 Lafayette. And it was just, nobody had to go anywhere, so
Yeah.
that was helpful.
That was my next question. What was the adjustment that you had to make due to COVID? Did you find that most people had it shipped, or how was that handled for you?
Yeah, definitely more, in the past pre-COVID years, there were more people coming in to drop off toys, which I really miss that part,
Yeah.
just because it was just fun to, I don't know, fun to put that check off of one more item. And the people who, donated the item, a lot of times they had their kids with them at the store, and, having the kids pick out the things. And that, when you said age appropriate for your kids, well,
Yeah.
that's what a lot of people did. And
Yeah.
it was really neat to get the pictures of the kids picking out the toys. And I kind of have failed, and then COVID hit, and I'm like, the one thing I really wanted to do this year is to get pictures of kids picking out, our agents' kids picking
Yeah.
out the gifts and doing something with that, because it's just a really cool thing that they're learning, that
Mhm.
those toys are not for them when, when they're little guys,
Yeah.
that they're going to kids that don't have anything, and continuing that through the generations is absolutely critical.
I always loved and appreciated when there was a family or mom bringing their kid in, how the kid was so proud that this isn't my toy. This is a toy for somebody else, and it's like it's nice to instill that in our children, and then to see them react in the way that they are proud that that's what they're doing.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
that's
I think
huge.
so. What is the next? Well, did you give all the gifts already, or are they going out?
No, they are coming next, the DCYF is coming to pick them up next week. And I will, kind of the tradition that started, I think right back at the beginning, is we pull them all into a, what we call the agent lounge,
Mhm.
and just like spread them all out, because they are tucked in little corners here and there throughout the office, and it's the chance to get them all pulled together.
Yeah.
And it became a thing that it I was doing that just like late at night, and like the Christmas trees or the holiday trees were up in the agent lounge and they were illuminated and it was dark out, and just seeing all of these things on the table. I remember
Mhm.
putting them all on the table and just standing back. And it was just this moment of, I remember we have a couch that's kind of on the other side of the room. And I remember just sitting down that first year and going, oh my God, look what this office did. And I'm going to
Yeah.
start crying. I thought I could get through this, but it's a very powerful moment of, right now, there's a little pile over here and a pile over here and a big pile over here. And it
Yeah.
it just, seeing it all put together every single year just gets to me.
Yeah.
And
It's the culmination of everything, and knowing that everyone had a part in it, and that you, and honestly, truly, Sue, I think that you help inspire that in us
so
as agents to do that. I truly believe that you and Michael Whitney does a fantastic job as well. And I've seen you guys build this from something small to something really massive, and you always hit the goal, no matter how many kids are in need and
yeah.
are in our local areas. And I just think it's wonderful, and I don't want to make you cry, so we're going to go to the next
I
question.
thought, I was like, I can get through this without crying, but
Oh my
it's that moment. And it kind of, at first, way back when Michael said, well, we're going to do a toy, I think we should do a toy drive, like we should do this. And I said, oh, great idea, like that's great. And I just remember, I think it was that night, trying to fall asleep, and I kind of, I've been very lucky throughout my life. I don't I I didn't grow up like that. I was very, very lucky. My daughter's very lucky. But I think I was trying to fall asleep and I pictured a child um, receiving something that, their friends at school probably had all kinds of things. And they wanted this one thing.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're opening it and they feel like the other. Now I'm gonna cry. They feel like the other kids. The other
Yeah.
kids opened gifts and they were at risk, whether they know it or not.
Mhm.
But it kind of, in their minds, I pictured it kind of leveling the playing field. Like they're
Oh,
special too, and somebody is thinking about them where they
I
go
love that.
without a lot. I mean, I want to be careful how I say that, because DCYF does an amazing job. Like the
Mhm.
caseworkers and everybody that we get to meet when they come pick up, they're just amazing people.
Yeah.
But there's not, $80 billion to support DCYF. They struggle too.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't want to make it sound like these kids have horrendous lives, but it's just not what we might think about as growing up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And it's really it's and I am sure that they at DCWF absolutely adore you guys because of the work and the effort that you put into it, which is awesome.
because we need to remember, it's not just about this, but they've got kids going through the court system because of things their parents are, just it's all over the place. There's 1,000 different issues and none of them are
Their
good.
fault. Yeah,
Uh,
and none of them are the kids' fault, or they shouldn't be. If we can do something to help them feel a little less penalized, I think maybe
yeah,
is the right word,
yeah,
then that's what we do.
absolutely. Yeah.
When do you start doing the fundraising for this? When does DCYF give you that list? Is it in October or November?
It is usually very tail end of October. It's varied a little bit, but end of October to very beginning of November is the usual time frame.
Cool. And I know you've always kept it in office. Do you see in the next couple of years a bigger need than what our office can support and maybe opening it to the public? Or do you think that us agents at KW will be able to handle the load that you give?
Know how it's really happened that it's been an in-house KW, and not that anybody's been excluded. I mean,
Not
I
at all.
know, we have our fabulous vendors who we work our title companies and lender and, you know, all the people that support us and let us do what we do also help. But in terms of the general public, we've never had to.
Mhm.
Um, I I suppose if, I can't even imagine not being able to fulfill their list because we just have, even on years that has been a little tiny bit quieter
Mhm.
um, than other years. We've just kind of made it happen. And that's through a lot of different people who might just be like, you know what, I'm going to grab those last six things, or
Mhm.
um, it just kind of happens. And we haven't even really had to think about that. Is I think the other reason that we've kept it in-house is simply because there are other organizations out there that are collecting toys as well. The New
Yeah.
Hampshire State Police, the Stuff a Cruiser, which is not possible this year, but I think they have an online donation system. I think I haven't looked it up,
I'll
but
take a look and find it and put the link in on on this.
there's a lot of places, the Toys for Tots, a lot of different places collect. So we've not wanted to, where we've been able to fulfill it every single year, we haven't wanted to take away from others. I mean, if
Others.
somebody from, a member of the public called in or something, can we help? Sure, like that would be great.
Yeah.
But we just never really wanted to take away from the other organizations that are more public based.
I understand that. And now, knowing you for who you are and how I feel like sitting still is something you don't do super well, um, there must be other cases or causes that you get involved with throughout the year. Did you want to talk about one or two of those?
Sure. There are a few that my family has supported for, I believe, my whole life or most of it or something. And I do continue on with those. A lot of those are kind of Massachusetts based, and not that it matters. It's just supporting organizations. The two that are local, beyond the DCYF situation that we do this for. Haven is a group in Portsmouth that assist with actually a bunch of different issues, but domestic abuse and childhood issues with unhealthy relationships, and kind of giving them the power to step up and break the cycle of those things is an amazing organization. And then Gather also in Portsmouth is this group that they collect food for people in need. And
Mm.
I know Portsmouth gets labeled as, everybody lives in a gazillion-dollar house and it's Portsmouth. That's not the case for any town in the universe.
No.
There's always need, and Gather does an amazing job at getting food to people. I mean, a basic thing that a lot of us might not even think about.
Yeah.
And they're there and they're hustling. I KW, through our owner Nate Dickey, we have what is typically an internal pie day the day before Thanksgiving, and of course we couldn't have 400 or so people floating through the building um,
Nope.
this year, and leave it to Nathan and the whole leadership team. Decided that, you know what, we're going to buy the same amount of pies. There were probably more, which isn't like 25 pies for anybody who kind of doesn't know who we are. I'm pretty sure he bought 700 pies this year. I don't know that I heard the final number, but we were boxing them up and delivering them to different places. And the I got to deliver to Gather, which I was thrilled about, and a few others, Portsmouth PD and a couple other spots too. And I was standing out on the sidewalk at the beginning of this delivery with people with their tickets to go collect their food.
Mhm.
And okay, I'm gonna cry again. It was it was just, I wasn't there for a long time, but it was just an amazing opportunity. I had the best conversations with people,
Yeah.
and they asked what the box, they wanted to know what's this and all of that. And I didn't tell anyone in our leadership team, but I just kind of handed out a couple of pies while I was standing in line as well. I don't know if that's okay or not, but there were just some, it just really great community-based people who need so much, but so friendly and so just appreciative that Gather exists and keeps
Yeah.
them going. And everybody that I was able to talk to there, they were like, we think next year we won't need this and we can't wait to give back. Okay, there it goes. We can't wait to give back to other people who are then in our position so
Yeah.
all of these places that we have, and I know there are, I think if somebody could drop off a bag of canned vegetable, whatever it
Yeah.
is, it all goes to really good use, and people are so overwhelmingly appreciative for these things that it just makes it, you know, it makes it a priority in your life to make sure that they're taken care of.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing. And I'm sorry that I've made you cry twice at this point.
Well, you know what? There's a few other times that these events and things have been talked about on different times, and I guess I should just admit I'm not able to get through the conversations about the toy drive and the kids who benefit and what it means to them and food and the
Yeah.
basics of life, that when we can get involved in these things. So I'm just gonna, I can't get through this conversation without crying. So there.
So you just own it. We wear the waterproof mascara, the waterproof eye.
Well, actually, no. So that could be a little tricky, but and I should probably keep Kleenex nearby. But no, I really appreciate this, Carrie. These are hugely important to us and to all of us, and appreciate the opportunity to talk about it. And hopefully, somebody who maybe wasn't in a position at some point and now is, or maybe they just understand that, literally every dollar counts to any of these groups that need things.
Yeah, especially now when it's so hard to do that fundraising aspect.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, Sue, thank you so much. I appreciate your time and effort and putting you out of your comfort zone, because you literally learned, like, as I'm pressing play, that this was not an internal review post.
Sure, it's okay. No, it's all good. All good.
So, sorry, I should do better with my communication on that.
Yeah,
But
you and I were on an all-day class on mine too, so it wasn't like a ton of time to talk about it. It's all fine. We can
yes,
adapt easily.
this is where we live. We live in the world of Zoom right now.
Exactly.
But thank you so much. And I'm hoping to be able to continue this on throughout the year so I can talk to you about it again next year and any other things. So if you guys are ever curious, I'm going to put the links for Haven and for Gather in the chat. I'll put the information about DCYF if you wanted to figure out how to get involved yourselves. And thank you again, Sue.
Thank you. It was an honor, and I appreciate you promoting all of the things that can be done out there.
My pleasure.
Thanks.